The expression, damned if you do, damned if you don't. You know the phrase. It likely comes from American evangelist Lorenzo Dow. He was coming at, quote, those who preach it up to make the Bible clash and contradict itself by preaching somewhat like this. You can and you can't. You shall and you shan't. You will and you won't. And you will be damned if you do. And you will be damned if you don't. It was his way of summing up the thankless task of faith that makes adherence almost impossible. But it made me think about Biden going to the border. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. He had no real announcement, and going really just seemed to serve his critics. But the truth is that phrase really speaks to the game. There's never a good way to go as long as someone benefits from you being damned, right? The Texas governor, Greg Abbott, he's been calling for Biden to go to the border for months. Now he goes and he says, too late. The same man who says he's worried about the human cost at the border is shipping migrants as political pawns wherever he can. The Democrats, they speak with one voice, right, during the pandemic. Lock down the country, you need to do it, grave concerns about COVID. But you want to keep people out of America because of COVID and where they've been? No. That's not right. That's wrong, says Pramila Jayapal and other lefties. I've had Pramila on many times. She's always welcome, Representative Jayapal, but she needs to defend this. So COVID is a concern everywhere in America, but not at the border. Title 42, you've heard, okay? This is not a new law. Trump did not create this. He's just used it in his administrations to protect Americans from outsiders in times of disease to spread. And look, I get the hypocrisy. Trump used it during COVID to keep out hundreds of thousands, but he only seemed to care about COVID at the border with those people and not about keeping the rest of us safe here with any real precautions. I get it. But you got to look at the Democrats also here. And no, this is not both sidesism. Sometimes you just find a confluence. Okay? If COVID matters so much that I got to stay in my house for months, then maybe people shouldn't just waltz in the country when you don't know if they have it or not. Okay. You want more avenues of entry into the country, fine. But that doesn't mean that you can't have security. And it certainly means you've got to add to the staff. You've got to create different rules that make more sense on asylum. You got to have more facilities. And you can believe in security and securing the future of people who want to come here at the same time. But never the twain shall meet. Damned if you want security, damned if you want access for more people here. No compromise, because somebody has to be damned for the other to receive some perverse blessing of being the less contemptible of the pair. Biden goes down there, the administration puts out, there have been more arrests this year than at any time in recent history. Okay, what's the question? Why? They don't tell you the why. Dismissing the unprecedented surge of migrants. Well, the migrants are only surging because of unprecedented drugs and crime. If you ask anyone who does the work of keeping us safe down there, of course there's a drug problem. The place is on fire right now, Mexico, with one of the cartels, the Sinaloa cartel. Of course there's poverty. Of course there's all these bad things. But they're going to say equal or greater incentive to any of that is the belief that Democrats, specifically Biden, will make it easier to get in the country. He knows it. He just doesn't want to say it because it makes him look soft. I don't know why, but it does. Kevin McCarthy calls this a photo op. Well, isn't that what it always is when a president goes somewhere? What do they usually pick up a shovel? A photo op that shows they're concerned and they're connected to concern. Like when he ran his ass down to Mar-a-Lago to take a picture with Trump right after January 6th. Remember that? It's a photo op to show you're connected to the right concern. He knows what it is. Now he's looking down on it. Here's the reality. I could take any group of you, the core of this country, reasonable people, and you would see the solution slapping you in the face. Tighter laws on asylum, more people who claim asylum in home country, more people to process so you can have that going on and free up other people to fight drugs and do the things they have to do, more tribunals, more accommodations, and make it easier to get visas for labor for some of these 11 million vacant jobs that we have. And bust a couple of big employers that flout all the rules and bring migrants up here and pretend they don't know what's happening, just so they don't have to pay as much. Bust them, and you'll see more people follow the rules. And then you take care of the dreamers who are being held hostage by this nonsense, people who deserve to be citizens as much as you or me who were born here. So why not? If it's so simple, even Cuomo gets it. Because the solution doesn't work as well as the problem. It doesn't. In a binary system that is fundamentally zero-sum, it is better if I have a problem that I can beat you over the head with than a solution I work with you on. That's the reality of the game. Biden gets to say, the Democrats get to say, these Republicans have no heart. Look what they're doing to the Dreamers. And they're right. And the Republicans get to say, look how unsafe it is out there. Look how lackadaisical the law enforcement is. Look how understaffed they are. Look how no money that they're spending down there compared to what they want to spend everywhere else. They have no head, these Democrats. And they're right. But nothing changes until you change the game by being a free agent, an independent who leads these parties so they don't just expect your vote, just so that they can be your proxy to attack the other side because they're the threat. You got to change the game. Otherwise, you'll be damned if you do, and you'll be damned if you don't.